Normal police are investigating the death of a 3-year-old who died last Tuesday. Good afternoon, I'm Allie Harris.
And I'm Alicia Ogerman. A 23-year-old man from Normal is now facing 3 murder charges in connection with the child's death. TV 10's Alexis McAdams is live in the newsroom with more. Alexis?
The McLean County State's Attorney's Office and the Normal Police Department filed charges last night against 23-year-old Nicholas Compton, who was the caregiver of 3-year-old Robbie Holmes. Neighbors were surprised to hear of the horrific news, and police are still investigating. In the investigation of 3-year-old Robbie Kramer, who died Tuesday after suffering multiple blunt force injuries, there is now a 23-year-old man who has been charged with the beating death of the 3-year-old.
Yesterday afternoon, the State's Attorney's Office filed in a warrant for Nicholas Compton's arrest on 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of aggravated domestic battery. That warrant carried a bond of $1 million with it.
Compton is said to be the caregiver of young Robbie and was supposed to be taking care of him near the time of death at the Cambridge address. The suspect, Anthony Compton, has a criminal record and was convicted before for domestic battery in relation to a July 2011 incident with a woman here in Bloomington. 3-year-old Robbie Kramer lived here in Normal on Cambridge Street, right in this blue house behind me. It seems like just a regular quiet neighborhood, but neighbors told me off camera that the people that lived in this house with Kramer were not the best neighbors. They said there was a lot of erratic activity going on every night, lots of screaming and yelling. Pit bulls lived in there as well with the young boy who lived in the basement.
No kids or anything like that on this block. It's all retired people and older people. So yeah, that doesn't come. This is kind of a shock to the neighborhood. Yes.
The Normal Police Department is investigating further into how and why Robbie was beaten.
Well, our investigation at this point is not over. I mean, we will continue to do interviews. We'll also continue to do follow-up. We'll then continue to work as we have been with the coroner and the State's Attorney's Office to compile the best case possible.
Police Chief of Normal, Rick Bleichner, told me today that they are doing everything they can to figure out what happened Tuesday night, and this is still an ongoing investigation. The state's attorney has not yet announced the upcoming court dates of Nicholas Compton, but today was the funeral for Robbie, and the service was at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints here in Normal. The burial will be at Wiley Cemetery in Colfax. We will keep you updated on this ongoing investigation as we receive more information. Reporting for TV 10 News, I'm Alexis McAdams. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Alexis. A Bloomington man and woman were arrested Thursday for suspected cocaine possession and drug sales. A search warrant was set out, which immediately followed the arrest of Miguel Pablo Garcia and Lauren Van Mofart. Approximately 1,500 grams of suspected cocaine and 1,200 grams of suspected cannabis were recovered. They are being detained at the McLean County Jail.
A retired Champaign police chief is taking over Bloomington's interim chief job, which the city starts the search in April for a permanent replacement for Randy McKinley. R.T. Finley previously served as an interim chief in East Peoria in 2012. He was also the chief of police in Carbondale and the deputy chief in Quincy. Finney will take over for former interim chief Clay Wheeler, who will be attending a professional development program for the next 10 weeks.
The Bloomington Normal Airport Authority Board of Commissioners held a meeting yesterday in hopes of saving the Air Traffic Control Center at the Central Illinois Regional Airport. TV 10's Meredith O'Neill is live in the studio with more.
At the board meeting, members voted on 3 different items surrounding the uncertainty of the FAA's action and fast approaching deadline to eliminate funding. A suit was filed as a result of the votes.
It could cause problems, and a lot of delays.
The airport deputy director of marketing, Fran Streebing, reflects on the meeting yesterday.
Well, basically, it was a 3-pronged approach to our issue here. The first is, of course, the legal action that we're hoping will keep the FAA from actually closing our tower or moving to eliminate our funds.
Airport officials were hoping that the issue would be resolved in Congress last week, but because it has not, Streebing says what it means for the airport.
Well, what it will mean for the airport is that we will take on that responsibility of funding our air traffic control services. We're going to remain open and operating. We don't want any interruption in our service. And so if the FAA chooses to continue with this plan, then the funding will just shift from the FAA, from the federal government, to the airport authority.
With the possibility of the airport losing the traffic control center, Streebing stresses that it will not affect passengers.
There should be no changes for passengers. Everyone should feel assured that our air traffic control services are going to continue. There will be no interruption in our service.
Even with ensuring passengers the same service, some are still a little fearful of the idea and what it could mean for the dependability of the airport.
To go and change, things around and, maybe not have the air traffic controllers or, it could cause problems, and it could be a lot of delays and unsatisfied customers.
Whatever the outcome, Central Illinois Regional Airport is committed to a solution ensuring the air traffic control services will continue with or without FAA funding. Back to you at the desk.
State officials say unemployment in Illinois metro areas followed the statewide jobless rate. The Department of Employment Security say unemployment in Bloomington Normal increased from 7.5% in February 2012 to 8.1% last month. Unemployment increased in 10 of the state's 12 metro areas. The department said last week that February statewide unemployment rose to 9.5%.
Retail sales in Bloomington are looking up, with a 15.9% increase in 2012 compared with 2011's numbers. In the 2012 calendar year, Bloomington saw an increase of almost $3 million. Sales tax receipts were up 66% in furniture and household and 30% in automotive and gas stations. Bloomington's sales tax have a greater increase compared to Normal's 5% sales tax jump due to the city's central location.
The three candidates running for the Bloomington mayor position participated in a forum at Illinois Wesleyan last night. Sarah Beckman has more on the story.
I love the debates because it's an opportunity for me to get my message out and also to hear what the other candidates are doing.
Numerous messages were certainly voiced at the Bloomington Mayoral Forum held last night on the Illinois Wesleyan campus. A full house of Illinois Wesleyan students and Bloomington community members filled the seats of the Hanson Student Center as the audience listened to the three candidates, Terry Renner, John Hanson, and Lex Green, speak about their opinions on certain issues.
The mayoral election is the biggest race going on right now. There's some contested city council races, but this is the biggest.
The thought behind on the forum was to not only get to know the candidates and their values, but to also engage college students with the local political scene.
Students could get involved that weren't necessarily politically engaged, who would come out and see and have a forum for the community and for our students or faculty or staff on campus.
Though the candidates were asked numerous questions, such as improving the downtown Bloomington bar scene and integrating young professionals into the community, for the most part, the debate was calm and absent of personal attacks from any of the three candidates.
We could have gotten into more specifics, such as the managed competition. Pensions is very important to me. We didn't touch on that.
The mayoral election is just 10 days away, and though the candidates will not be debating in that time frame, they will continue to campaign throughout the Bloomington community. For TV 10 News, I'm Sarah Beckman.
Bloomington residents will be able to cast their vote for mayor on April 9th.
The city of Bloomington will no longer pick up blue recycling bins. Residents can keep the blue bins or choose to leave them at the city recycling facility or at any Unit 5 school. Bloomington Public Works offices will be closed today for the Good Friday holiday, so residents will have to wait until Monday to drop off their bins. Despite the closed facilities, household garbage and recyclables will be picked up as usual. Easter weekend is here, and so many students say that they're spending it with their family at home.
TV 10's Alex Wilson has more about how ISU students are spending their holiday.
Egg hunts, Easter baskets, and candy are all a part of many people's Easter celebration. Students at ISU have different ideas of what is the best part of the holiday.
Easter egg hunts.
To find our Easter baskets in the morning.
The candy.
Some of the favorite foods to eat on Easter are hard-boiled eggs, Hershey's eggs, and Starburst jelly beans. Many students plan on heading home for the weekend and enjoying time with their family.
We just have a dinner at the end of the day, so it's a big family dinner basically. That's what we do.
One student has never attended a public school until he came to ISU. He was raised Lutheran and always attended Christian schools.
Easter was always a really big deal, both in school and in my family. So it's pretty close, like it's pretty close related to me and my family, and we always made a pretty big deal about it. So
Easter is celebrated among many families and is even sometimes as popular as Christmas.
Easter is really, it's almost like is blown up as Christmas for us, so it's a pretty significant event.
No matter your favorite part, you're always guaranteed to have a happy Easter. For TV10, I'm Alex Wilson.
We'll tell you how the weather will look for Easter weekend after the break.
And an ISU fraternity was pooling for some extra cash last night.
And we'll tell you how thousands of patients are being notified about a big mistake their own dentist made.